Vine's POV. I entered my workplace expecting to get bombarded by the news of Kim Taehyung's escape from jail, or to face a battle with him and his men, or even worse, witnessing all the higher authorities leaking his fate. The third scenario would be horrific. I slightly shook my head to get rid of my nasty imagination and approached the front desk to register my attendance for the day. And it's unusually quiet today. Other colleagues bowed to me as I walked past them while replying with a nod and entered my office. My eyes automatically went towards his special cell and there he is. Sitting like a king, staring at me as if he had been waiting for me. I stared back at him, but then decided to break the staring contest and ignore him. I walked towards my desk and started to prepare for the day. Scott, first of all, you left me alone all night in this dark, scary cell. And now instead of apologizing, you are ignoring me. Do you even have a heart? Dramatically complained while acting as if he is innocent. I sighed internally and continued my work. I spent the entire night thinking about you, and here you don't even care about my poor little feelings. You are more ruthless than a mafia, huffed out a sigh. Not more ruthless than those who buy and use them as toys to gratify their wounded egos. Spoke coldly and finally raised her eyes to glare at him. Facts, nodded his head, agreeing to her statement. So when are you planning to come out of the cell and seek revenge on me for ruining your plan to buy a girlfriend? Crossed her arms across her chest while asking, why would I buy any other girl when I can have you for free? Mimicked her gestures and folded his arms across his chest as well. I was ready to yell at him, but someone entered my office and raced straight to his cell, holding the bars of the cell. Why are you here, bro? I'm a criminal in her eyes, Jimmy. Then, where else am I supposed to be? Acted as if he is emotionally hurt while looking at her. Jimin confusingly looked in the direction where Taehyung was looking and looked back at Taehyung while raising an eyebrow, and a cocky grin made its way to his lips. Her? Smirked naughtily, nodded his head while smirking a little. Jimin turned towards Vian, who was now ignoring them both as she knew they were not as stupid as they were acting. They were nothing but a bad news, and she was waiting for a disaster to happen. Please leave, my friend. He is innocent, and I swear he won't go to that bar ever again. I promise. Pleaded her while blinking his eyes to melt her, acting innocent, which he is clearly not. Tang pursed his lips, trying to control his laugh, after looking at Vian's pissed expressions, because he knew their early morning drama spoiled her mood for the entire day. She just kept looking at Jimin with her straight expressions, successfully making him uncomfortable under her cold gaze. To cover up his embarrassment, he cleared his throat and spoke again. Myself, Park Jimin. And you are Inspector? Asked her about her name, but before she could open her mouth. Inspector Kang Vian, originally from Yongsan village, moved to Seoul to pursue higher education from the Korea National Police University, topped in her educational and training courses, making her father Kang Seong-ho, a retired teacher, proud of his daughter, and her mother Kang Ji, believed that daughters are not a burden. But what about your younger brother, Seongmin Vian? When are you calling him to Seoul for better education? Asked her as if he knew her for a long time. And on a side note, you were looking good in your maroon night suit last night. Winks at him. His words gave me chills. Did he escape last night and stalk me? And I'm sure I have never encountered him in my entire life. Then how does he know so much about me? I did not realize for how long I had been staying with him, but the noise of quick footsteps in my office distracted me. Inspector Ryan, loudly yelled. I stood up from my chair and gave him a professional salute as he is my boss. Yes, sir. How dare you put Kim Taehyung in jail? Do you even know who he is? Rudely scolded her in front of Taehyung and Jeon. A mafia. A criminal. Told straightforwardly. Thank you for clarification, but I need you to release him this instant. Gestured her to comply to his order. Sorry, sir. It's okay for now. We will talk about it later. Just release him quickly now. I did not apologize to you, sir. I apologize since I can't comply to your orders and release a criminal back into society when his real place is behind bars. Spoke with her usual cold expressions. Woman, please grant I have to your boss. I think he will cry. Laughs out aloud along with Jim. Chief Inspector cleared his throat in embarrassment and turned to face the cell where Tang was sitting as if it was his new home. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, sir, but I'll cancel her orders right away. Turned to Wine and spoke while pointing his finger towards her in a threatening manner. And you, pack your stuff and... His body dropped on the ground with a loud thud. Wine looked at him across the cell, while he was holding a in his hand, from which a little smoke was coming out. I did not like his tone. Shrugged his shoulder as if he did not just Chief Inspector in the back of his head. I immediately pointed at him and ordered him to surrender and hand me over his weapon, which he did while smiling sweetly. Psycho. So you are planning to stay here longer? Sighs while shaking his head side to side. I'll take care of this mess. Drags the Chief Inspector's lifeless body out by grabbing his one leg, leaving a pool of splattered behind. Vine, who was a little shocked by the situation, finally gained her senses, dashed back to her table and lifted her landline quickly to inform the department about the incident. Chuckles. Don't waste your time and energy. They did not dare to enter your office when they heard the... Do you think they care? Laid on the small bed and closed his eyes, pretending to be tired. After 1 hour, thanks POV, interrogation room. I found myself seated in a different cell made of glass walls, away from her office. She is indeed a cruel one, and I'm loving it. Although she dared to file a FIR against me, I feel pity for her. All of her efforts will go in vain because these folks can't even harm my nail. However, I have to admit that she is the only hopeful one in this hopeless department. She entered the cell, still maintaining a direct eye contact with me, without any fear, even after witnessing me ending her boss. This girl is really something, and I don't know why I'm still here. Let's start from the basics. Why did you stalk me last night? Sat in front of him, keeping her poker face on. I was always told to follow my dream. Slightly smirked at her, indicating that he is not taking this situation seriously. Why did you ended Chief Inspector when he was siding with you? Continued interrogating him, completely ignoring his teasing stare. He raised his voice and pointed his finger at you. Suddenly became damn serious as his gaze darkened. This is not the answer to my question, unfazed. What was I supposed to do? Just sit and watch? He called for his own demise the moment he decided to be nasty to you. He spoke seriously but suddenly smirked, giving her the impression that this maniac is playing games. Deputy Hosok called him in while still staring at Taehyung. Hobie swallowed as he heard her and entered the room, appearing slightly scared. Taehyung darkly gazed at Hobie, making him sweat harder, which caused Taehyung to let out a dark chuckle. "Don't be uncomfortable, Hobie," whispered while looking back at him with a reassuring gaze. "You are asking him to be comfortable after caging a lion in your prison?" teased her. Looked at him with a smile. "A caged lion is nothing more than a house cat." This time her words triggered him, and he made a decision in his mind that would turn her world upside down. At 8 p.m. Vine was packing her stuff to go home after her 12-hour shift filled with adventure and exhaustion, all thanks to Taehyung. He literally ended her boss, yet no higher authority took action against him. His friend even took the deceased body and no one was able to stop him. She was the only one who went against the order to set him free, putting her work and life at jeopardy. She was about to exit her office when the power in the police station went out. She called the security personnel but no one responded to her, making her suspicions increase and her senses went on high alert. She took out her, reached into her pocket and pulled out a police flashlight. With a quick click, the beam of light pierced through the obsidian blackness, revealing the passed out security and colleagues. Her hands tightened around the flashlight as she felt someone right behind her. However, instead of turning around, she delivered a powerful roundhouse kick to the person behind her, hitting him right in the stomach, causing him to groan and stumble back due to a sudden attack. "It hurts like a..." He regained his composure and calmly walked towards her. Vine left the torch and swung a punch at him, but he cradled her punch as if catching flowers and massaged her fist, ignoring the fact that she was pointing her in his stomach with the other hand. Trying to remove her fist from his grip and shoving her further into his stomach as a warning. "Surrender." "I did, the time you walked in." Chuckled and swiftly cut her hair tied with a small dagger in his hand, making her hair to fall on her shoulders. Beautiful. Breathed out and whispered, being mesmerized by her. He was about to press the trigger, but he twisted her around, grabbed the gun and pointed it at her head, while forcing her back against his chest, and wrapped his other arm around her waist. He left her defenseless in a matter of seconds, which surprised her. Did you really think this was going to be this easy? Chuckled in her ear, making her breathe easy. You should not take me for granted, my first little officer. Saying this, he kissed her ear, but before she could react, she felt a pinch in her neck and found herself falling unconscious in his embrace. She tried to fight back the darkness by forcing her eyes to stay wide open, but was failing in doing so. Her little attempt seemed adorable to him, and he chuckled while staring at her face in the darkness, while the only light in the room was the moonlight entering from the window, making her appear more alluring to him. He lifted her in his arms in Bradley's side, when she fell completely unconscious and walked out of the police station. Cute, but you should know that I hate cute things.